In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
go. So we started recording. So I would like to introduce Russell, my cousin, who is come on today to have a different perspective on weight loss surgery. And I feel that this is going to be a little bit of a conversation today with different perspectives of weight loss surgery and obesity. Is that right?
Well, let's see. Hello, Cuz. Thanks for having me on.
That's all right. Thank you for coming on. Because I know your busy schedule, so thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. So obviously the statistics of now this is taken from the UK Parliament website, shows that 28% of adults in England are obese and a further 36% are overweight. Obesity is usually defined as having a body mass index of 30 and above. Now, men are slightly to be more overweight than women between the age 45 and 74. Now, I think obviously it's just age, lots of, because obviously you're more comfortable and you're getting older. However, there are lots of reasons why obesity happens. Now, as you know, I've been very slim as a child, as an adult, obviously going up with children, things like that, and then probably a little bit overweight. However, medications I went on for mental health caused it to be, if I took the tablet 20 minutes later, I would go to the fridge, and I swear to God, if you stood in front of me, I'd eat you. It's that bad. It really is that bad. But of course, what happens is your stomach gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you need more food and more food to fill it. But that was a medical choice. Like, I had to have it. It wasn't a choice. That's
Really?
my journey. Yeah,
Really?
really. Because I had, mental health issues.
It sounds like an excuse to me.
Well, mental health issues. That's an excuse.
No, mental health issues. No, not mental health issues notwithstanding. If the seeming or so-called effect of a drug making you eat, you still had the choice not to eat or not. It's the same as if you smoke and you have got a drug inside you, which is nicotine, that's inverted commas making you smoke. It doesn't making you
then
smoke.
You stop. You can give it up.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't not eat.
Yeah, but you can not go to the fridge and eat human beings. I know you were joking. You can regulate your calorie intake. You don't have to just eat. I think being obese is a choice.
These tablets are horrific.
I think it's a choice.
The tablets are horrific.
And look, I'm an ex-smoker. My mum was an alcoholic, as you know. So
Yes.
look, I'm no expert on addiction, but people stop drinking. People stop taking heroin.
They can.
I think
they can.
It's a choice.
I was an alcoholic. That was my choice, and I stopped drinking.
Yeah, there you go.
And everybody knows I was an alcoholic, but I was able to stop. You can't stop eating.
No, but you don't stop eating altogether, but you stop eating.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the choice. That's the choice. You know in your mind whether if you eat 2 kilos of cheese one afternoon, right? You know that that's too much, and then you supplement. Right? So in your mind. So I just think it's easy to say. It's easy for the obese to say it's this, because there will be 500 different excuses, right? It will be stress. It will be I have to go out and eat and drink with clients 5 nights a week. It's all a choice. So when you go out with clients and eat and drink, you don't have to drink 18 pints. You don't have to eat 6 curries.
I agree. But that's different. If you've this was the situation I was in. I had this tablet, and it was a weight gaining tablet. All of my tablets now are weight gaining tablets.
Yes. I'm just drinking tea, and I'm saying I have the choice of having no sugar. And I took the choice not to have sugar in this tea. Just FYI.
But you can. You have that choice. I didn't have that choice. It was either be happy. No, I didn't. Be happy on the tablets okay, and be fat, or it was a question of being fat and in the situation of suicidal. What choice would you have?
I'm no medical expert, but in a
No,
drug.
but what choice? But what choice would you have taken?
Well, no, I would have taken the choice to take the drugs to help solve the issues and then not eat, because I would have had the willpower not to do so. The same as no, but Vic, you're not eating. That's an extreme, right? There's black and white. So white is eating too much, black is eating nothing. I'm talking about regulating your intake, even on those medications, so that you're only taking in 15 or 1600 calories a day, right? Which is what a woman typically would take in. Then the other thing is, and I know a bit about this because I try to keep, and I'm no Adonis, right? I'm trying to keep in reasonable shape for a 54-year-old guy, right? So I don't have breakfast. I have no carbs at lunch. I eat kind of what I want in the evening. I don't drink a lot. And I exercise most mornings, and I walk 10,000 steps a day, right? And I went from 91 kilos, bearing in mind I'm 6 foot tall, so I'm not fat. I'm now 85 kilos. My choice, I did it, even though I could argue I've got no time, I've got this pressure. So there's the food thing. So even if I accept the argument that the drugs make you eat, I don't accept that argument. But even if I did, well, then walk it off, exercise. You've got the choice.
But you can't, right? There's something in the drug that you either can lose weight, but there's something in the drug. Now, I wish my psychologists and my psychotherapy were all here, because they'd be able to explain to you what is in the drugs.
And they wouldn't like me very much, and your audience won't like me very much. But look, this is what tough love, Vic.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're going to absolutely hate you. However,
most people
you're used to that. You're used to that. No, I just think there's something there's something in the drug that does not let you it maintains your weight, but it doesn't maintain your weight. It actually puts on the weight. And I can't now. I'm a slow loser with this a bariatric surgery, yeah. And the reason why I'm a slow loser is because of the bloody drugs that I'm on for my mental health. Now, if you put my journey next to somebody else's journey that hasn't got the drugs, they lose like stones, and they lose like 30 pounds in a few weeks, yeah. But because of my own I can't do that, and yet I'm eating exactly the same thing. I have not got a large stomach to take everything in anymore. I eat healthily because I'm not allowed to have anything unhealthy, because otherwise it affects my bones. I have to take vitamins every day, twice a day. I have to do all of this stuff now because I've had bariatric surgery. So I have no choice but to be on this healthy plan, which is high protein and low carbs, and I'm only allowed 1,000 calories per day. I have to exercise, so I'm exercising, doing all what I'm supposed to do, and yet slow loser because of the tablets.
So you're saying that but there are only two things that contribute to weight, right? And that is what goes in and what is expended in exercise. So if you take 2,000 calories and you burn 500 calories, then that's a net 1,500.
Yeah.
You're on your weight, right? Yeah. So the drug itself, I don't see how it's physically possible for the drug itself to make you put on weight. It can make you want to eat. I get that. Like you said about 10 minutes ago,
earlier.
It makes me want to go to the fridge. It makes me want to go to the fridge. But the drug actually having calories in it of 1,000 calories above won't possibly be the drug that's putting on weight. It's physically impossible.
Okay, so why? Okay, so why now? I will actually ask that question to my psychologist, and I will come back to you with that one. But I now am on my journey. I've had weight loss surgery. I haven't got a large stomach. Okay, I don't eat the fridge. I wouldn't eat you. I'm on this low calorie diet. Okay. And I have to do the exercise. I have to do the protein, and I have got a stomach like that. I have to chew 20 times. Pardon?
Are you cheating with what you eat and drink?
No, I can't. I have to drink 2 litres of water a day, because if I don't, I get dehydrated and end up in hospital. So there's all these factors that we have to do now, and I'm doing them all, but I'm a slow loser because of my medications. That's just my own personal journey.
You know, I'm not medically qualified to know what that drug is.
I understand. Yeah, neither am I. That's why I'm saying.
But logically, it doesn't make sense to me on the basis that, well, as I've laid out, really, we'll have an equilibrium around our calorie intake, and above that we put weight, below that we lose weight, right? So it'd be interesting to study. So a properly peer-reviewed study that shows that this drug makes everybody that takes it put on weight. I mean, what we're saying is that everybody.
Not everybody.
Well, why is that then?
Because so it can either make you lose weight, which I wish I could have had that one, or it can make you happen to have the gain weight. So it's either way it goes. I mean, luckily I've come off it now.
It sounds to me like it makes you either increase your appetite or reduce your appetite, which is why you either put on weight or you lose weight. But that's back to my point. You then have the choice. The drug doesn't control you. You control your body. So you can decide not to eat, even though the drug is suggesting that you should.
So going back to obesity,
I'm the answer to your audience. I'm the answer to your audience's problem.
Pardon?
I'm the answer to your audience. I am the voice of reason. I am voice of truth.
Do you reckon? No.
Yeah.
So you would go completely against bariatric surgery then?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with bariatric surgery. I think it's a great thing if you need that kickstart to reduce your calorie intake, because that's what it does, right? So it reduces the amount that you eat and digest.
Everything.
No, I think there's nothing wrong with it. Assuming though that once you've had the surgery, that person doesn't just revert back to where they were previously. So, people have some bloody willpower, right? The world cannot exist just to be a crutch, right? There can't be a crutch for everything in terms of, well, I'd like this done for me. I'd like that done for me. And whether that's benefits or whether it's bariatric surgery or whether it's, having someone free of charge to look after your kids or a free car or right to have an iPhone. I don't believe in all that. I believe that you have to stand on your own and take personal responsibility.
I do too.
That's the conservative in my.
That's something we actually agree with. I completely agree with that. Completely. But I just think that there are some people that they can't help if they get diabetes type 2. And then obviously that's all a problem. But obviously that is from weight gain. They get high blood pressure from weight gain. But there are all these. Pardon?
Vic, remember my dad. So I'm 54, right? I'm the age now that my dad was when I were. So my dad, for everybody's benefit, my dad died 5 years ago in January. And he, at my age, I remember him having everything wrong with him, right? So he was overweight, he smoked, he had diabetes, he had heart problems, he had kidney problems, he had all sorts of issues. They were all completely self-inflicted. It wasn't, no one waved a magic wand and said, right, Howard, you're going to have diabetes. He spent 60 years of his life smoking, eating crap and not regulating his intake and doing no exercise, right? So he died at 71 years old. My dad too. Yeah, well, your dad, but your dad sorted himself out a bit earlier in life. My dad had so little willpower. When we said to him, you've got diabetes and you smoke, it's going to kill you. Please stop smoking, because he was having toes amputated, by the way. I don't know if you know that. So I know. Because he wasn't getting circulation to his feet because of the mixture of diabetes and smoking. His attitude was, I'd rather smoke and, in his words, enjoy life, and lead a shorter life and be in misery. And I thought, what a pathetic, this is my dad I'm talking about, what a pathetic attitude to have, that you'd rather live a shorter period of time and keep smoking. So I just don't buy this stuff. So he was completely and utterly addicted to the thought of, he wasn't clinically addicted to smoking, because believe me, I stopped 20 years ago. When you stop, the nicotine's out your system in 3 days. I stopped. The rest of it is all habit. Yeah, you stopped. Anthony stopped. Your brother. So I think it's the same with weight loss. You need to have personal responsibility, and you need to, kind of own the issue and be disciplined about life and what you put
But
into
some
your
people
body.
can't.
Why
But
not?
some people can't, just because of
Why not?
situations, circumstances, worry, money worries, everything like that, and people just can't
People that are disabled,
living and but
people that are disabled, fair enough. People that
or
have got but people that have got a primary medical problem that makes them immobile, they're bound to have more of a propensity to put on weight. But it kind of sounds like, so when we see obese people that, I saw a woman today, she must have been in her 30s and she must have been 30 stone plus
yeah,
in one of those electric wheelchair things. And do you know what? Because I knew I was doing this webinar with you today. I thought, I wonder which one of these two things that is, right? Is it she was ill and immobile that made her fat? I bet it was the other way around. She became, and that made her ill and immobile. And I think
that's
that applies to
terrible thought. But that is a
I think
terrible judgmental attitude.
that applies statistically. I bet you'll find that applies to the overweight people. You have a choice.
But that's
You have a
judgmental.
choice.
Because you don't know her problems. She could have been disabled and then put on weight.
The majority of people that are overweight have a choice, and that then causes others, that then cause them to be disabled and on benefits. And
Yes.
it's not that, again, a wand is waved and all of a sudden you become obese. You become obese because you eat too much. It's just that.
No,
I'm sounding very Piers Morgan here.
No, you are. But I'm sounding Russell back. What I'm saying is, I was suicidal, okay? I had a breakdown. I was suicidal. The only thing I had was I had to eat, okay? Stu used to bring in my meals, and that's all I did because I was so depressed. Nobody helped me. No doctor could help me because they weren't helping me because there was no mental health help out there at that time. And I'm not talking years ago. I'm talking like, hundreds of years ago. I'm talking like 10 years ago. And there wasn't any mental health help out there. Doctor, I had to tell him in the end, after 3 years, what I wanted after research. I was suicidal. The only thing I had was bedridden and putting on weight. And I became obese. And then disabled, and then mental health issues.
You were comfort eating because
but I didn't have a choice.
You do have a choice. It's not right to say you don't have a choice.
Point.
No one's standing over you with a gun. Yes, you had mental health issues, and your crutch was to eat. That crutch could have been something else. Yes. It could have been alcohol, as to a degree it was. It could have been drugs, as it is with many, many people. I mean, look, I lost my business in 2018, right? A business that I'd raised £27 million for with 140 members of staff. And in December 2018, went bust. Now, I had a choice. I could either do what some people do, which is to feel sorry for myself and sit in the corner of this room with the lights on, like my mother did. I decided not to do that. So within a month, I started a new business. Because I had self-respect and discipline, and because I've got a wife and 3 kids that are at home that I have to look after financially. And I made sure that I picked myself back up again. And now, frankly, Vic, I've never looked back. I won't look back. I've never been in such
it's made you the person you are. Yeah.
I had the choice. So I could have gone into a kind of alcoholic haze and started kind of feeling sorry for myself during 2019, and then blamed.
But you were determined not to be like that.
This is been for everybody. Yeah, they're determined, but that's the point. I could blame the failure of the business for now. If I was an alcoholic and 40 stone, I could blame the business, but it's me. It's down to me. I have the choice. I have the choice, and I
didn't. I've got bipolar, and I couldn't make that choice.
Well, I think you can.
Bipolar can't make you have that choice. Honestly, you're up and down like a blooming yo-yo.
How much
but I can't make choices. 11 stone, 168 pounds.
You've lost, right? This is phenomenal, right? You've lost 11 stone. Why? Because you chose to.
No, because I had blooming payment to do it privately.
No, you chose to. You had to choose to do that. You made the choice.
I was going to die or blooming have the operation. That's what I was told.
you had to make the ultimate decision. What I'm saying, you can make that decision 10 years earlier. Otherwise, look, we'd all be fine.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I know I sound unsympathetic, but it's just tough love.
No, you're not.
So I signed up to this thing at the end of last year because I worry that I'm going to turn into my dad, right? And like, he was a lovely bloke, soft as you like, as you well know, but no willpower, unhealthy, dead at 71. I don't want to be that guy. I just don't want to be that guy. No. So I made myself sign up to this really good personal trainer that used to and still does. I mean, a guy called Luke Duran, look him up. He's brilliant, right? And you go on this program and he talks to you about nutrition, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, not in a dictatorial way, and then mixes that with some kind of healthy mind stuff and some exercise and so on. I did that, and as I say, I lost 5 kilos, which was my target, right? And I did that over 12 weeks, no problem. So that was something that I decided to do because I could see the benefit now of doing it, rather than getting maybe 10 years down the line and maybe I would then be 30 stone and start smoking again and so on. And then I've got a life choice to make because I'm at death's door. I've chosen to do it now, and hopefully, touch wood, I live a bit longer. I've had, I won't mention his name because obviously you're gonna kind of broadcast this, but a really good friend of mine, who I'll tell you afterwards, who was a mate that I knocked around with certain reprobates that you will know in Bariatric back in the 80s. He had a heart attack on Friday, 54 years old.
Oh no. No.
Overweight.
Do I know him?
Yeah, you do. Overweight, smoked, drugs. So that's why I'm not going to mention his name. And 54 years old, had a heart attack. And why? Because of the lifestyle that he chose to pursue. If he hadn't drunk every day, eaten, been overweight, and smoked 40 fags a day for the last 40 years, he wouldn't have had a heart attack at 54, probably. Choice.
No, that's a shock. No, but I think with alcoholism, with cigarettes and drugs, being an ex-alcoholic, I can see how I could come off that. But I can't see how mentally, like when I had the bipolar, obviously I'm balanced now because I'm on medications. And luckily, I'm on a different medication than that one that put the weight on. But I'm still on medications that don't help me. And I just think, mental health issues doesn't help. And I don't think you can make those choices.
No, it doesn't help, but a massive part of the population across the world have mental health issues, and there's there's people with attention deficit syndrome, there's people with obsessive compulsive disorder, there's people that have, all sorts of issues. It applies to a big swathe of the population, but then I would argue it did 100 years ago. It probably did 500 years ago. We've got to be careful that we don't end up in a position as a society where everyone's got an excuse not to look after themselves. Everyone's got an excuse, medication, or to be part of, to be a long-term victim of the NHS, like in and out of the NHS all the time. I hear you, and I know I sound really unsympathetic, but I think we've got to a position as a culture, as a country, where it's all too easy to blame an ailment or this or that or a person or a job.
But that's what's happening in this country, because it's so damn depressing that everybody is. It is.
It's a brilliant country.
But if you talk to people, it's so damn depressing.
I don't buy that at all. We live in one of the, if not the best countries in the world. We have freedom. We have free markets.
We have freedom. I agree.
We have freedom of speech, freedom of choice. We have the highest standard of living that we've ever had. Unemployment right now is the lowest it's been since 1974. People are looked after generally by the state. We've got 8 million people on benefits in this country, right? And then
you've got the people that are sitting there getting their food from the food stores.
Because society isn't equal. It just isn't, right? And it's never going to be.
No, it isn't.
And it never has been. But we don't live in a depressive state. North Korea, that's shitty.
I'm saying more and more people are getting depressed and
living as a Muslim in
all of these.
No, but they shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. They've got to snap out of it, because we're in a position where otherwise, no, seriously, we are talking ourselves into that depression. You know, we watch telly now. You got me on a rant now, Vic. We watch
It's
telly.
depressing.
And no, we don't know. We watch telly and we think that we should have the wealth and the riches and the success of reality TV stars. You know, we want to be on Factor. We want to be on Big Brother. We want to win the lottery, like the people in Gloucester last week that won 168 million quid. And if we don't have that instant gratification, that instant financial success, we get pissed off and we start getting depressed because we're not Jade Goody or someone off Love Island or someone off the X Factor that's now worth 100 million quid. We've got to get over ourselves. We really have. And to start to believe that depressing world, we're in the best world that this population, this planet has ever lived in, and we've got to start realizing that seriously. Otherwise, we will be.
I agree. No, I do agree that this is a wonderful country, and I do agree with what you're saying. But I do believe that there's a lot of people that are now going downhill with watching crap on television. That's depressing. With the news and everything, that is depressing. Turn it off.
No, I'm saying pick yourselves up. Guy, anyone listening to this that's, oh yeah, I'm a bit depressed. Yeah, because I've only got 3 tellies and, you know, I can't afford the full Sky package and I can only go out drinking down the social club 3 nights a week and my car's 7 years old. Get over it, honestly. Or work harder, like I've done, like many people have done. Sorry, again, I missed
No, I agree with all of that, but we're getting off obesity.
Well, no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, because why are people in poverty fat? Why are more likely to be fat if they live in poverty?
Because they're depressed. Because they've got a horrible life and depressed and start getting ill, and then they're disabled and they can't help being disabled.
Poverty and disability, they're not the same thing, right?
No, I'm saying there are other people with obesity that is disabled.
But I'm talking about generally, it's statistically more likely that you're obese if you're poor. It's not, you know, depression and food are not the same thing, right? You can eat because you're depressed, but again, I go back to my point. You don't have
it's
to.
An addictive.
Right? You don't have to eat chicken burgers every night, huh?
No, but it's addictive, isn't it? Like cigarettes, like alcohol. But I know what you said about the choice, but some people can't. Some people haven't got that choice.
Buy it. You know, to go to the greengrocers or Sainsbury's and buy fresh food to cook is much cheaper than getting Just Eat to deliver a takeaway, right?
It is.
Do that. I honestly, I don't buy into society's deprivation that it's no one else's fault. It is our fault. We should stand on our own 2 feet, take personal responsibility for our health, for our wealth, and our well-being, honestly.
And that's why I did what I did. And that's why I had the surgery. Because I had to. I had no choice.
I kind of rest my case.
But before that, I couldn't handle that. I couldn't do any of that. That's why I became obese. I wish I hadn't.
No, but your argument is destroyed because you got to a point where you did make the choice to be slimmer.
I did.
So therefore you can make the choice.
But by surgery. I couldn't do it on my own. That's what I'm saying to you. I couldn't do it on my own. And you're saying do it on your own. Get out there and do some exercise and don't order Just Eat.
Or I'm suggesting, this is a big plug for you here, you do it with the help of groups like yours. Of course. I'm not saying don't do it with no help. I'm just saying it's not all about somebody else's fault or a drug or a crutch that you lean into. Because the minute we start saying, oh yeah, I'm fat because, or I'm a drug addict because,
but that's different. If you're ill.
No, it's so being an alcoholic, right, is a choice. Now, I'm not suggesting it's easy to snap out of it, but it's a choice to go there, right? And it's a horrible thing. I've seen it. I've picked my mother up off of pub floors and carried her home, right? I get it, right? But she still put herself there. And I haven't.
And I did.
I haven't.
Because I had transfer addiction.
Yeah, but it's not like I had no choice and therefore my mum was an alcoholic, so I might as well be. I've got an excuse. That's bullshit.
But I never had that. Look at my mother.
What about our family? Our grandmother was an alcoholic, Vic.
Yeah, but I didn't look at my grandmother and go, "Oh, well, I'll be an alcoholic."
Yeah, well, maybe it's in the DNA, but you fight it, right? So my DNA is similar to yours. No, maybe you fight it.
Yeah.
You know, Nana was an alcoholic. Our family drank, right?
They all drink.
Well, yeah, they our parents, obviously there's
Terribly.
only one brother still alive, right? But again, he changed his lifestyle 30 or 40 years
He
ago.
did.
You know, they've all been drinkers, and they've all smoked and so on. And look, instead of them following their footsteps, I took the choice some time ago to do the opposite of that.
Yeah,
Just to,
yeah.
who knows? I might get knocked down by a bus tomorrow. Some of your audience will probably say, "Yeah, I hope you do, mate." But you can stack the deck in your favour. That's what I'm suggesting, and take personal responsibility and make choices because you can. And while you're blaming and finger pointing at other things and other stuff, if you choose to fail, you're gonna fail. I mean, my daughter Lily the other day, she went, "Oh, I'm playing netball against Brentwood School next week." She went, "We're going to lose." And do you know what I said to her? "Yeah, you are." She went, "Huh?" I went, "You definitely are, because you've just told me you're going to lose. So you're going to lose."
Yeah, yeah.
But
I get that though. I'm like that. I'm very positive. When I was in a situation of suicidal and depression, there would be a situation, a gap. My children used to come to me and I was really positive. "Oh, don't feel like that. Don't feel like that. Oh, feel like this." And I'm still the same attitude with them now, today, with everything in life. But it's circumstances. My mental health has kept me back with
you're
everything.
okay. You're better now. Not better, but you're better than you were now.
I'm stable because of my medications, which thankfully I got rid of quintarpine, and I'm now on different medications. They still hold me back.
So what do we do about the problem? But what do we do about the problem of society getting heavier? Because they are.
I think it's all to do with disabilities, for starters. You have got a certain amount of disabilities that they will only put on weight because of their disabilities. But then the other half, I think, should be not so much on the television, like burgers and all of that on the television, which it is constant. When we came out of the operations, and you can't but no, there's that side of the society.
You're suggesting it's the television
I
adverts.
think there's people I think it's disabilities.
No. So look, a very small percentage of the population have got disabilities, right? So the fact that you said at the beginning of this, about 60% of people are overweight or obese. Yeah. There's no 60% link there in terms of 60% of people are disabled and therefore they're all obese, right? There's a link. Connection. But to suggest that, just like Sadiq Khan has said, we need to take burger adverts off the tube and the telly and all that. What are we doing to society where we don't trust individuals, the 67 million people in this country, to not be able to get fat because they might see McDonald's advertised on a phone box?
It's true. Yeah. Okay, I'll take that back. I'll take that one back. Hideous. Yeah. No, I'll take that one back.
For society to go in, right? Because otherwise, what we're basically saying is everyone's stupid. That's what that suggests, and I don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
What we shouldn't therefore have pub signs just in case I see the Rovers return
and become an alcoholic.
It's horseshit.
Yeah. No, I said I'll take that back. All right, take that one back. I'll take that one back.
Honestly, look,
I love that one. You can have that one.
Make me health secretary. I should be health secretary.
No, you bloody should do for mental health, because there isn't enough help for mental health. There isn't enough help for mental health.
My concern is 60% of people being obese and overweight will soon be 70%, 80% and so on, right? So it's going to look at America, go to Disneyland and see the size of people there. So there's the moral imperative and the social imperative there. But my concern is that the NHS will collapse under the weight, no pun intended, of all of these heavy people that have got ailments because they're obese. It's happening.
It is
going
true.
To happen more and more. And I would argue also,
and it is happening more and more and more. So we should get more help beforehand.
Well, not help. You help yourselves.
Help yourselves. We need more help. If it's mental health, why don't we get that first?
Why should I pay a fortune in tax? Majority of the NHS budget is going on obese people and smokers. I'm not obese and I don't smoke. It's not fair.
No. Okay. So mental health for starters, because if I didn't have the problems, if I didn't have 3 years by myself without mental help, then I wouldn't have been the obesity that I was.
Look, mental health is
and that's not choice. That's not choice.
We can't use it as an
That wasn't a
excuse
choice in my circumstances.
ailment in society. Otherwise, we'd have to let all the criminals off that shoplift and kill people on the basis of their mental health. I mean, that's simply not acceptable. You know, people still have to take responsibility. And I'm not saying it's not a thing and it doesn't exist, but it isn't the trigger to all of the problems that we're talking about around obesity and you know, and the degradation of the NHS over the next 20 or 30 years. Because
I just think they're going to get more and more. They're going to get I think what's happening is the mental health isn't helped. Okay, isn't being helped. So therefore they're getting obese. Okay, some people like me, for me. Okay, so my mental health wasn't looked after.
That connection in any minority, tiny minority of mental health leads.
I hear a lot of it.
Well, no, you will do in your. You will, because you're in the profession that you are, right? So you're going to hear more of it because you're more anecdotal stuff because you're more exposed to it. But
it's happening more and more.
But a lot of mental health is exaggerated because it's the same now.
Mine wasn't exaggerated.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about generally. I'm talking about a statistically relevant data.
But you don't know that.
Well, what I worry about, but what you're kind of suggesting is that mental health issues are going to carry on going like that. That's therefore the crutch that people can lean into to use that as an excuse for being overweight, and just follow this through, right? So then everyone becomes overweight, which puts a massive burden on the NHS. Can't work. All on benefits. They're all leaning into the NHS. Society collapses. So 10 years down the line, society collapses if we just accept mental health is this uncontrollable big thing.
So why don't we stop? Why not stop it here?
What? Now I'm suggesting we stop it, but not through intervention and subsidy and so on. But
why not?
For ourselves, because the country can't afford it, and it's an excuse.
We can afford, but if you can afford, right? The country can afford surgery, but they can't afford the NHS getting blood pressure, getting diabetes, getting the knee operations, getting the hip operations. That's what they can't afford.
What we should do, we should definitely help to educate people that they should exercise. They should not eat 3,500 calories a day, and they should not, sit there for 19 hours a day on a sofa watching reruns of Jeremy Kyle. And so on, right? So
I agree. For most of the population, I think that's true. Yeah. That education for that side of it is really good. And I do believe that there should be a... Sorry.
I'm talking about this problem becoming... It's like the trajectory for all of this is only going that way. The way we reverse it is not to pander. It's not to mollycoddle. It's a bit of tough love. And, maybe we should close the door to obese people in NHS.
No way! Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
I'm joking.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is, it's all too easy to lean into all of health and all of this support and all of this, this leaning into
support. No, people need support. Just because you don't, because you're in a situation that you can.
No, I'm in a situation that I've made a choice to be in.
That you've made a choice that you've made for yourself. I agree. I agree. No, they do. Yeah, but some people don't, and that's what I'm saying. And they do need support.
Let's say 1% of the population don't have that choice because they're severely disabled.
We don't know whether it's 1%.
Well, you don't know whether it's 1%. It isn't 60%. If it is, we might as well turn the lights off because we're stuck.
Yeah.
That's all I'm suggesting. We've got to.
No, I don't believe that. Obviously, 68% are obviously, from that. I'm just saying that.
Reminds me of being at school and the kid that comes into school that hasn't done his homework. My dog ate my homework, right? Now, you can't allow that excuse to prevail because otherwise that kid's never going to do his homework, right? So when he comes back the second time and says, my dog's eaten my homework, you just say, okay, you're going to have a detention. Bring the dog with you if you want, but you're in detention. Tough love, because that kid needs to know if he doesn't do his homework, he's going to get punished. And it's the same with
that's different.
No, it's not. It's the same thing. If you as an individual can use...
tell us off and go, don't you eat.
what I'm saying is, you need as a society. I'm not talking about individuals. Society needs a jolt that you can't just use the state and public money to cure all ailments, no matter how big or small, or exaggerate those ailments to the point that you use it as an excuse not to work, to be overweight, to be unhealthy, and so on. That is the degradation of society. It will kill British society, world society, if we allow it to continue. Because the only place that goes to is that everyone gets fat, everyone has mental health issues, everyone leans into the NHS and the state falls over, society falls over. You think I'm exaggerating? That's where all this goes if we keep pandering and we don't take personal responsibility for ourselves.
No, I agree in respect of if they're sitting at home, they haven't got a job, and they are in that situation. Obviously, okay, that can happen. But mental health disabilities that are putting on the weight that need the intervention before they go to the NHS.
So I don't buy it. I mean, the numbers this week about jobs, right? There are now more people, there are more jobs than people looking for jobs, right? So there's 3.7% unemployment. So there are more jobs than people. So
therefore, know statistics.
What is that's the ONS statistics just from this week. So there's no excuse. It's not like there's no jobs. There's no jobs. No, there really are.
I don't believe that. Yeah.
No, statistically, there are more jobs than people looking for jobs, right? So therefore, people saying, "Oh, I can't work. I can't find a job." No, what you mean is you can't get a job that pays you £15 an hour where you can work 3 days a week, right? That's
I agree with that. But I agree with that.
What? Agree with what?
I completely agree with you that the jobs are out there. People have the choice to go and get a job, but I'm not talking about obesity.
It's another excuse. So obese, mental health, no job. The excuses can cut all we like, right? But mostly, 99% of the time, I think they're just excuses.
So do you not think that people need intervention and help out there to get
education? I think not money, not an NHS system which they can walk up to 15 times a month, because they need education and they need to understand the implications of a bad lifestyle.
I think they need help to get to mentally help to get into that education to get into that cycle. That's fair enough. Some people can't and they become obese, and that is this percentage.
But that's a
minority. They need help. So
they
need help mentally. They need help in their situation.
60% of the population are overweight or obese. That's not 60% of the public do not have mental health issues. So those two things
no.
at all.
No, so what I'm saying is there will be disabilities that maybe they need help with. There may be mental health that they need help with before it gets to the NHS and before the knees go, before everything else happens.
And I agree that the NHS should be educating people to eat less, eat the right things and exercise, right? So instead of having doctors that are dealing with the problem after it's a problem, we should be trying to preempt the problem by getting people to do what I've done many and our kids and ourselves, and to exercise more and eat better, right? And to understand what a calorie is, to understand that a chicken tikka masala is 1,000 calories. And if you've already had a McDonald's and a Wimpy that day and 6 pints, you're going to put on weight. That's what's going to happen, particularly if you don't walk more than 15 steps a day, right? It's bloody obvious.
I think that's different. I think that is a lifestyle.
That's
and I think there are other lifestyles, but I wouldn't say that it's all of the population. I think that's a lifestyle. I do believe that there are people out there like me who are positive, are working, who are trying their hardest, damned hardest to get up on their feet, who have mental health issues that need the help.
I wonder,
intervention first.
It probably won't surprise you to learn that I do a YouTube show, a lady by the name of Esther Kraku, who's really cool, and we do 2 shows actually. One is called The Question, and one is called Believe It or Not, right? So, but the relevance to this conversation is the question, and we asked a question on our YouTube show, right? So it's called Soapbox. If you go to YouTube, Soapbox,
I'm going to
The Question, and the question we asked was: should obese people pay more to fly planes?
I know, and you bloody well said yes.
No, I was
You
arguing
said yes.
arguing for it. Yeah.
All right, and my Sophie went nuts over that.
Good.
She
Well,
said,
in a good way.
She said, did you see that? And I went, yeah. Outrageous.
Yeah. But the
why?
Because when
They
you weigh
can't
your
help
bag,
it.
oh no, that's the whole problem. Everyone that says they can't help is enabling
Some
obesity.
can't.
You're enabling. Again, a tiny, tiny, tiny minority can't help it. The rest of the fatty people, the fat people, can help it, and that's what we're trying to address here. That it's a lifestyle.
So if you're on a plane and you don't know that person, are you going to judge and say, "Oh, it's just because you eat too much"?
No. So it's an economic argument, really. So which is that you go to the airport with your family and you put your bags on the weighing thing, and your limit's 20. So let's say all my bags are 20 kilos. Good. Next family behind me, they're all skinny, and their bags are 35 kilos because they like to wear loads of clothes, and they get fined a penalty bags. Family behind them, they're all 30 stone and they've got little tiny bags. They are allowed to go on, even though the combined weight of family, the people and the suitcases, is more than the second family. Now, airlines charge more for heavier bags because it can more fuel and costs more money. But why on earth, therefore, a skinny family with heavier bags who have looked after themselves and made a lifestyle choice not to be obese, why should they pay more to fly than people that with their bags included are heavier than they are? It makes no sense.
And what does
so
everybody
therefore,
say?
if you're obese, you should take ownership of the fact you've made that choice. And if that means that if you're particularly obese, you have to buy 2 seats on a plane, then that's what you should do. Or if it means that you should
So what did everybody say? Oops, you've gone. What did everybody say? What did everybody say?
So the majority
What did everybody say?
We split it in men and women. The majority of men thought that you should pay more. You should pay more if you're obese to fly.
And the girls?
You could argue, and if the obese are going to use the NHS more, maybe they should pay higher rates of tax. I mean,
no way. Because it's because what if they're disabled? No, you can't be like that. You can't say that. What's they've got to pay more tax?
They might be disabled
so they've got to have 2 seats on an aeroplane. They've got to pay more tax.
Yeah, because they
and not order Just Eat.
Because they burden the
burgers.
No, they burden the NHS more,
right?
And therefore they're taking more out of it, so therefore they should pay more into it. That makes sense.
But I want to know why.
That's what I just said.
I want to know why. No, I want to know why these people are burdening them. What is wrong with them? Where has this come from? Let's start. Like if it's mental health. No, it's not. It's not.
It is.
There are different.
Of course it is.
There are different reasons, like tablets, like I don't know, broken leg.
There's different.
No, I don't think it is excuses. Beg to differ.
We will agree to disagree.
So we will agree to disagree, I think, this evening.
Yes.
But thank you for coming on.
Interesting. Can your audience comment on this when they see it? Is it possible for people to comment? Right, I can't wait to see the comments. Look, tough love. I'm Mr. Tough Love. Call me Mr. Something else, but I just tell you how I see it.
They will.
I'll have to put me a tin hat on, I think.
I think you're going to have to, and hide.
It's good debate, and hopefully we've inspired a conversation amongst your audience.
Definitely would have done. Definitely would have done. Right, I'm going to end recording, and then I'm going to speak to you after.
Okay, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure, hasn't it?
That's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Disclaimer. I am not medically trained, but I am here to be a support system for you on your journey. If you have any medical concerns, please seek professional help immediately. Together,